That is right, ladies and gents. We are here. We are back. And the Buckeyes are national champions. Buckle up. We have huge news. What a season it's been, from the heart-pounding victories to the epic moments. When Will Howard, Jeremiah Smith, and our Buckeyes claim the national championship. We've been through it all together, ups, downs. Now it's time to reward our efforts as the most passionate fan base in all of college sports. Go to www.nicosports.com. That's NIKCO sports.com. Check out their Ohio State Buckeye National Championship Limited Edition of football. Use our code OHIO for $10 off. This isn't just a football. This is a token of everything that we've been through this season. It's fully embossed, fully licensed. It includes the national championship logo, the full schedule, Buckeye championship history, and all the final scores. It's all right there, beautifully displayed, so we can reminisce on one of the most iconic seasons in Ohio State history. But there's a kicker. There are only 10,000 of these footballs in the world, and once they're gone, they're gone. That's it. If you want one, if you want to own a piece of this unforgettable season, now's your chance, and they're already selling like hotcakes. I've already grabbed mine. You need to grab yours too. Go to www.nicosports.com. That's NIKCO sports.com. Use our promo code OHIO to get $10 off your order right now. Do it. Don't miss out on it, people. It's well worth it, man. That's a beautiful ball. I cannot wait for mine to come in, guys. Cory's with us. That's Dr. Cory. That is Chris Watts. Chris, what is on your head?
Isn't that nice?
Lean into the camera for a second. Oh, my Lord. Unbelievable.
That's right. Podfather the hat is now available. It'll be up and on the store this evening.
The Podfather,
along with several other great items that are coming along the way. We've got several really cool things that Bobby's been very busy today. So we got Podfather the hat. We've got the OHIO podcast, the bag. We've got, how about the Ryan Day apology form? I'm telling you, all kinds of great things. We're adding some jewelry on there tonight. Just all kinds of awesome items. It's going to be available on the website, on the store, later this evening after the show.
And that website is theohiopodcast.com. Theohiopodcast.com. Click on the store link. That'll take you there. Ryan Day's championship beard. Name change! He has gifted one membership to iBuck8. Got that? Awesome, dude. Thank you so much, Ryan Day's championship beard. Love it. Donald and Karen Rosbach gifted 5 OHIO podcast memberships. They went to EKQ. Mecca, all right. Or Mika got one. Mika got one. The Lunatic Fringe. He deserves one, absolutely. Richard got a membership. Fantastic. Thank you so much for that, Donald and Karen Rosbach. And Clayton got one as well. There we go, man. Love it. Guys, it's just been an amazing 24 hours, and I want to try to get through the pleasantries real fast so we can dive in tonight, because we got a whole bunch to talk about, and it's already after 9 o'clock, and I think Cory and Chris, well, Chris maybe not so much, because he's been off all day.
Being an educator, and I'm off tomorrow too.
Yeah. Anyways, we are the official Ohio State podcast of Fansided and Scarlet and Game. Head on over to scarletandgame.com. If you do not like the way our faces look, you can listen to the podcast over there or wherever you download podcasts, my friends. If you do and you're listening to this, we appreciate you. Please give us a 5-star review. Guys, also, I want you to know we are the official Ohio State podcast of The College Huddle. Head over to thecollegehuddle.com, where you can find us and 75 other of our closest friends from coast to coast. If you need to get a hold of us for any reason at all, email the show, theohiopodcast@gmail.com. I've had some really nice emails the last couple days. Thank you so much to all of you who've emailed me. Feel free to email me. If I don't get back to you right away, I am a busy person. I will get back to you as soon as I can. Also, If for whatever reason you can't get a hold of us in an email, you go to our website. There's also a place there to send an email, theohiopodcast.com. We have our call-in show Thursday night at 8 o'clock. We'll be back Sunday night, 8 o'clock. Chris and I will be doing some videos between now and then. But let's dive in to the national championship. And real fast, hit the thumbs up, everybody. 32 people watching on YouTube, 19 over there on the X. If you're on X, share it on your feed. That would help us out greatly. We got our first super chat coming in real fast here from Bobby Mack. How my champions doing this magnificent even? Dude, we doing good, Bobby Mack. We doing great. All right, let's do it. Initial reaction, Cory. We're natty champs, baby. Go for it.
Well, we are the champions. Nobody can take that from us, no matter how many Michigan fans are trying to belittle it. And I love the fact that I think I love this more than anything for Ryan Day. I'm going to just come out and say it. It's not a love fest for Ryan Day, but I just, for what all he's been through, on a personal level, and you have to separate the personal from the coaching. We doubted him as a coach after Michigan. I think that's fair. But obviously, results matter, and you react to the results of the playoffs and to the championship. You can't argue with him. You just can't. And the relief and jubilation he felt because of all that weight that just on him, on his family, on the players by default, just melted off of him when he threw the headset up into the crowd. He probably killed some little kid. I don't know, but
I wasn't gonna lie. Like I was like, that's got to be the greatest piece of sports memorabilia for a Ohio State fan of all time.
It'd almost be worth the $8,000 to sit in the front row there. But that's who I feel for the most, I think. It's just because of all the crap he's taken. Like we've said all along, while we questioned his coaching, we never disliked him. And I could just imagine what it's like to have the whole weight of Ohio, the state of Ohio and Buckeye Nation throughout the country on you, hammering you about your failures, in the last 3 years, and to come up with any kind of results in the goals that you set for yourself and set for the program. And finally, you've reached the ultimate goal in the national championship, and you did it in the greatest run in college football history. Now, this has never been done. 6 top 10 teams. The top 10 teams today of the AP, 7 of them. We beat 7 of them. I thought it was 6.
They beat 5 top 5s, 6 of the top 8.
Well, we are one of the top 5.
That's before the new AP. I think he just said the new AP came out today. Yeah,
we beat 6 of the top 10 in the new AP poll. All the top 5, the entire top 5. The rest of the 4, we beat them. Every single one of them. 6-1, 7-1 this year. What is it against top 5, top 10 teams? There's never been a run like it. I'm not saying it won't be duplicated because now there's the opportunity to do it for other teams. But he made history in the very first year, and he went from being a very good coach to an elite head coach all in one playoff. And my hat's off to him, and I'm just so happy for him and his family to get this relief.
Yeah, I'll tell you, I'm very excited for Ryan Day. I got the sign here. I gotta check it right here, where it says, "I will hereby respect Ryan Day, and I will not talk down on the national champion coach, at least until November."
Until November, huh? Hey man,
So
let's hold on. I'm
going
gonna let you speak in just a second. Yeah. I got to speak to that real fast. Did you watch my video today, Chris?
I have not had the opportunity, Eric. No.
Okay. I did a 45-minute heartfelt. I'm just gonna let it all out, and I called it an apology to Ryan Day. But I will say this: as a fan, I think it's my responsibility to not only say what I said, but to say this. I think Buckeye Nation, we need to lift that man up. Because I think instead of saying beat Michigan or kind of that was the attitude we all had, I think now that he's won the national championship, we should all be behind him 100% and just kind of push him into the W in Ann Arbor. Like he's got the ball, he's Will Howard, and we are Trevion Henderson behind him, just tush pushing him to the W against that team up north. That's kind of how I envision the 2025 year going for us.
So I said it all along, Eric. I thought he needed to win this to get there, and he won it. Kudos to him. Kudos to his staff. Kudos to those players. And how about a special shout out to a guy that we really mind, maybe even more than Ryan Day, and that would be Justin Fry. That offensive line looked good. So, I think we, as a group and as individuals, owe this coaching staff a bit of an apology. I really feel like we do, and I do apologize for doubting them, but at the same time, I'm not going to stop being critical. I'm not going to stop, holding them accountable. But this I will say, I feel like they've earned that good grace until we see how that game in Ann Arbor ends up at the end of November. Because while winning the national title is the ultimate goal, I've still got to see that. Now, not to poo-poo the parade, because this was a great game, a great moment, great team. Everything is awesome. But guys, I can't let it go, and because Cory said something that really bothered me. He said Ryan Day went from being a good coach to being elite. Ryan Day went from being a good coach to being a great coach. To be elite, at Ohio State, you have to have a winning record against Michigan. So he's turned the corner. He's headed in the right direction.
So we got to tush push him.
Yes.
Which Troy said is good in football, bad in prison. And I agree.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, good night, everybody. I didn't know we were committing a crime. Are we going to end up in prison now?
Different.
Look, I look at it. I understand what you're saying, Chris. I just say he's one of 3 head coaches to win a natty who's currently coaching. To me, that's elite.
And that's fair. And at a national perspective, elite. From an Ohio State perspective, not yet.
You wouldn't be, Chris, if you didn't come in with a little bit of grumpiness. So
I'm not grumpy.
I respect that.
There's expectations, and he got a major monkey off his back. He made major strides this year towards rewriting the narrative.
So you know what I want you to do? I want you to watch that video tomorrow of me.
Why? So we can argue again?
No. And then here's what I want you to do. I want you to do a reaction video. Because I think I will get you to soften your stance a little bit. By the way, speaking of Chris and his hardcore stance, did you see Marcus Freeman after he went back and addressed his team after the loss, came out on his own and watched the Ohio State celebration?
I did see that, yeah.
Yeah, I also saw Kirk Herbstreit cry, and I don't believe he.
Well, that's Kirk cries. Kirk is very emotional these days.
Well, we just found out his wife has cancer, so.
Yeah, I mean, come on, dude.
Yeah, he might be a little emotional off because of that. So.
Yeah, and I would fully understand that.
Yeah. So, Marcus Freeman is still a Buckeye, brother.
No, he's not.
Just saying. Yeah, he is.
He walked out. He turned his back.
40 of you in the YouTube watching on YouTube. Appreciate y'all. Hit that like button. So here's my take. This game had so many things that we had talked about. Checklists of if Notre Dame's going to win, they've got to do this. That first drive Notre Dame had was perfect for them. But Chris, I think you hit the nail on the head. It was perfect for them. It was unsustainable.
Yeah.
It was unsustainable. And when they were forced to change their game, they had no chance. Statistically speaking, listen to this. Statistically speaking, I went back and I watched the majority of the game again today. And that opening drive, okay, that they had, they were 2 of 4 on 3rd down and 2 of 2 on 4th down. You combine that, they only, from that moment on, only converted 4 more 3rd or 4th downs the rest of the game. That's it. They had rushed that opening drive. They had rushed over 80% of what they got in total in yards rushed on just that opening drive.
Yes.
I'm not sure what Jim Knowles did different after that opening drive, but boy, oh boy, Jim Knowles, man, was just a savant.
Part
Calling-
of it, part of it was Freeman.
4 carries.
Freeman
Yeah.
actually said out loud in the press conference that it wasn't sustainable that first drive. He said he can't run Riley Leonard all the time like that.
No, he about killed the poor kid.
Yeah, he's puking when he goes into the end zone there. So I think part of it's Knowles, part of it's Freeman just having to change it. He just he blew his wad on one. I don't know why you'd blow your wad on that one type of play in the first drive, but whatever.
And how about 4 carries for 3 yards?
For
For
Jeremiah
Love.
Love.
Jeremiah Love was non-existent. Non-existent in this game.
That was we said that Ohio State needed to take and make this a one-dimensional team. That's exactly what they did.
They did.
55
Leonard
yards
did it.
on the ground, I think they had.
Hey,
Leonard
hats
answered
off
the
to
call, though.
hats off to Great House. That kid is good.
Yeah.
He is to me. He reminded me so much about like a Chris Olave.
Mm-hmm.
Really, really smooth. That kid is really good. And hats off to Notre Dame on the comeback. The missed field goal. When you go back and you rewatch the game without all the emotions, that missed field goal, dude, that was the game in a lot of ways. That just crushed them in that moment.
I still maintain it was a dumb decision, but
Yeah, I agree. But it was a fourth and 9.
Yeah.
So, hindsight's 20/20. You didn't get points anyways. But yeah, I understand what he was trying to do there. But
I
yeah,
understand
huge.
the logic, and I just think it was illogical.
All right, let's go with letter grades. Last time for the year, guys, till the 2025 season kicks off in the shoe against Texas. We will not have another report card. Going with the offense first. Ohio State had 231 passing yards, 214 rushing yards for a total of 445 yards of offense. Good enough for 7.2 yards per play. They had 22 first downs. They were 9 of 12 for third down. Never attempted a fourth down all game. Time of possession was 32 minutes, 25 seconds. They did have 1 turnover. Chris, your offensive letter grade.
I had to, I bounced back and forth between A- and B+ all day. I'm going to go with an A-. I really feel like I can't give them an A. They would have got an A if not for a couple of bonehead penalties and more, also the fumble. Those 2 things kept me from giving them an A. I'm going to go A-.
I'll go B+, but I'm going to include the coaches in this. I thought we really took the foot off the gas.
Yes.
The fourth quarter. Yeah, we had a play there, a nice little counter reverse to Mecca. That obviously ended up being a fumble. It was a big play until that. But again, that's another reason why it takes the grade down a little bit. I think that after 13 of 13, Howard went through 8 passes. It's just like we really took the foot off the gas to play the analytics, try to run the clock. And I really think the team gets bored when we do that. And it just ended up being mistakes and disaster and and made the game closer than it needed to be. And even Cody Simon admitted they got nervous towards the end. And I'm like, okay, see, I understand you're playing the analytics. So I give them a B+ because they did play well and they did have their way the second and third quarter with a really good defense. But again, I hate that philosophy of take your foot off the gas. And that's probably one of the biggest things Ryan Day does wrong, in my opinion. He tries to all of a sudden switch from aggressive to trestle ball mid-game, and I don't think it really suits him or works for him. So I'll go B+.
That's an interesting take.
It doesn't work with the personnel we have, I think, more than anything.
I agree. Yeah, that's fair too. Yeah, exactly.
Day isn't built for trestle ball.
I don't think he manages a game nearly as well as Jim Tressel.
That needs to be explored. That's an interesting take. I went with an A. Listen, Notre Dame was probably in all next to Texas and Penn State. Okay, I take that back. We played a lot of really good defenses this year. Let's be honest. Notre Dame was one of the better ones, and we had our way with them in the first half. If the first half would have been another 15 minutes instead of going into halftime. And even when we came out of halftime, we scored on the first drive.
Right.
We owned that middle eight minutes that we talked about, the final 4 in the first half, the first 4 in the second half, that kind of really broke the back of Notre Dame in a lot of ways, and kind of was the game, because, when you win by 11, there's 14 points right there. So in a lot of ways, that was the game. But I went with an A. I agree with what you're saying, Cory. We maybe did take our foot off the gas offensively there, but it's the national championship game, and you scored over 30 points, and that's what I felt like we needed to do. I had us scoring 28 total, and so I feel really good that we were able to put 34 on the board. So I'm going to give them an A. Let's go to the defensive side of the ball. But before we do that, there was a question about, have I heard from John Kennedy yet today?
He had a rough show last night, Eric. I watched his show last
Yeah,
night.
I did
It was a
too.
rough one.
Yeah.
He got a ton of super chats, though. Don't feel too bad
Well,
for
he
him.
got a ton of super chats, but he was
Eric-
definitely emotional after the game and had a lot going on, not just, with the
Personal
game,
life,
but personal.
Yeah, he
And
lost the game, and then him and his wife and family had to put one of their dogs down.
Yeah.
So it was a
And
rough
their
couple days
fans
for my man.
Their fan
Rough
base
couple
was worse
days.
for us after Michigan.
I did go over there and send him a super chat and
I saw that.
Told him they're awesome, and the show's awesome, and that's a great team. That was a really good team. Speaking of Notre Dame, you're the man, Eric. Thanks for being someone a solid dude all season long. Chris, still need that apology, my man.
For what?
For Marcus Freeman, dude.
Marcus
Come
Freeman's
on.
still a dick.
No, he's not. You're so. He
He's a
literally. You are crazy, Chris.
He's a traitor. I'm not giving any apology to that jerk. When he comes out and apologizes to Ohio State, I might consider it.
Is John Kennedy in denial? No, Kennedy's not in denial, dude. He took it on the chin like a man. He's just having a rough time right now, man. I get it. Although that one Notre Dame fan who I made the video about, has blocked me.
How? Oh no, Eric. Whatever will you do?
I continue to live my life and now with a national championship.
Yeah.
I'll tell you, the more you mention that, Cory, that's resonated with me. The fact they took their feet off the gas, and man, that just irritates me because we were on pace. That game was going to be a blowout.
Yeah.
If not for that Emeka fumble and them taking their foot off the gas, that game had the makings of that 41-14 or more than 41 points for Ohio State. That I'd predicted. So I'm a little irritated by that.
He's irritated about a national championship. Unbelievable. All right. Our defensive letter grade. The defense gave up 255 passing yards, only 53 rushing yards. That right there, circle that, highlight, that's the game. Total yards allowed, 308. That's good enough for 5.3 yards per play. Notre Dame got 19 first downs in our defense. They were 5 of 12 on third down and 3 of 4 on fourth down. Again, the majority of that was on the first drive, like I spelled out. Time on the field was 27:35. Again, over 2/3 of that was the first drive. Oh, sorry, a third of that. Over a third of that was the first drive. You take away that first drive, Notre Dame only possessed the ball for 18 minutes. So, heck of a job getting off the field for the most part by the defense. 0 turnovers, however. Your defensive letter grade, Chris.
People are going to think I'm being a little bit critical here, but I went with a B-. And let me tell you why. We had some stupid penalties, extremely stupid penalties. We did allow this team to get back in the game. Now, part of that has to fall on the offense as well for going conservative, specifically, as Cory mentioned, the coaches. But, I feel like even though the defense did a great job in many aspects, there was a lot of areas where, like you said, no turnovers, only 2 sacks. We seem to lack some aggressiveness going after the quarterback, and then of course the bonehead penalties. I couldn't bring myself to do any better than that. So,
I'm gonna go. I'm around there, but I'm gonna go B. Um, yeah, I didn't like. I mean, look, two teams scored 20 points on us all year. Oregon was the one of them. They did it twice, and the other one's Notre Dame. Not they don't have a great offense, you know. And
No,
Riley Leonard's not a great quarterback, but he looked really good against us. Um, I understand we try to make him one dimensional. We took away the run game, and that's mostly, I think, in my opinion, Tyleek Williams and JT Tuimoloau last night were just phenomenal on the line. But I don't. Our corners were other than Burke. Corners not named Burke were getting torched for a little while there, and especially Jordan Hancock on that touchdown, and Jermaine Matthews missing 2 tackles in the same play somehow.
And Caleb Downs missed one too.
He did.
yeah,
The tackling was a little bit sloppy. I don't think that should have been even as close as it was. A combination of defense letting up versus the offense putting the foot off the gas. I didn't like that in the second half of the third towards the fourth quarter. And I think the game was closer than it needed to be, and it shouldn't have come down to a game-sealing field goal or a game-sealing desperation heave to Jeremiah Smith, which I'll give Chip Kelly credit. It was set up nicely because he was drawing them safeties in with those QB runs. At the time, we were getting pissed off at the play calling, and obviously he set it up. But that being said, with the defense side of the ball, I was just like, guys, you've been better than this all year, and this offense is not better than Texas. This offense is not better than Tennessee. This offense, you know, if they're not running the ball, Riley Leonard shouldn't be burning you that bad, and he did. So
B plus. It's in the national championship. I felt like Notre Dame was going to be able to do some things, and let's be honest, guys. Winning 4 games against top 10 teams back to back to back to back isn't easy. It's tough. Okay, and I think that, in all honesty, was why we saw a little bit of some missed tackling going on. And I know that they were trying to limit reps and things in practice and trying to keep them, keep their legs under them and things going into this game, and getting plenty of juice flowing and all everything they needed, sleep, etc., hydration. But at the end of the day, man, playing Tennessee, Oregon, Texas, Notre Dame back to back to back to back, I can't fault this defense too much. I'm going to give them a B plus. And they had the big stops when they got them. So that is our final report card of the season. Thanks everybody in the chat for participating in that. We will have the graphic up for you all tomorrow to take a quick look at on our social media. That was a lot of fun. Moving on, we get to hand out Buckeye Leafs one last time. So let's do it. Let's start with our offensive player of the game, Chris.
Oh, I've got to go with Will Howard. There's a lot of ways you could go, but I thought that Will just played a tremendous game. He did everything asked of him, whether it was with his feet or with his arm. Came out, I believe he secured that top passer rating in a single season of all time for Ohio State yesterday.
He did.
With just a tremendous, highly effective performance. I got to go Will.
I'm going guy I haven't gone all year, Quinshon. 3 touchdowns, 120 yards. I was between him and Donnie Jackson, but I've given it to Donnie Jackson a couple times, so I'm going to go Quinshon because honestly, most of the time lately it's been Trevion who's been the highlight player. This time it was Quinshon.
I went with Will Howard. I've kind of steered clear of him a lot this year when it came to player of the game, and I'm not really sure why.
I think it's because it's easy to give it to the quarterback. I mean,
Yeah.
every game, Will's been so good most games, it's easy just to give it to him. I get it.
Yeah. But I went with Will Howard. He was on fire. I think he broke a record for most consecutive passes in a row to start.
Mac Jones record, yep.
Not just, and think about this, guys. Not only was he extremely efficient, but man, that throw to Jeremiah Smith at the end of the game,
clutch,
was so clutch.
Yeah. Yep. All right. Let's go with our defensive player of the game, Chris.
Oh, man, this one was so tough.
It was.
Because there's so many ways you can go. The easy way would just be take Cody Simon because Cody had the most tackles in the game. But I think there was a lot more to it than that. I'm going to take a guy who actually got beaten on one instance, but I'll tell you, he really played a solid game overall, and that's Sonny Styles. Second on the team in tackles, had a sack, a tackle for loss, and he was all over the place. So
I'm going JT. Had a really nice game.
he did.
In fact, a lot of people were saying that JT should have got the defensive player of the game. But I mean, Cody's not a bad pick. Obviously, I didn't think anybody stood out dramatically like we've seen in the past few games. Like Texas, Jack Sawyer was a pretty easy pick, obviously. But this is one of the few games where I thought Caleb didn't have his best game of the season. Normally, he could easily go to him even without the stats because of what he means to the defense. But I think JT had a really nice game.
Yeah, 5 tackles, 2 tackles for loss, one of which was a sack. Give me JTT, man. And how fitting that the big 5-star do everything West Coaster, who we were thrilled to death when he got here, had one of his better games.
The whole staff bought Hawaiian or Samoan shirts or whatever.
They all met him at the airport with their Hawaiian shirts on. I'm going with JTT. All right, your offensive play of the game.
I went back and forth between two of them.
Yeah, me too.
I'm going to take Jeremiah's clutch catch on third down, set up that game-winning field goal. So I'm going to take that one.
It's got to be Jeremiah Smith. I mean, well, here's the underrated part about that play. Obviously, Will Howard. First of all, Travion getting the block up in the middle, and with the blitzing safety, Will making a great throw. The step back, not worried about the pressure, making the throw, and then Jeremiah Smith, selfless, smart, just to make sure he caught the ball and didn't fumble or lose it because Gray was going for the strip, and Jeremiah said, "I don't need the touchdown. I just need to keep the ball and get down." And we're going to win this game. So all aspects of it it was just a complete team play. So that was the offense play of the game.
Yeah, it was, but there's a lot of people saying Judkin's 70-yard run, and I agree. That was the other one I flip-flopped back with. And since you guys went both of you went that way, give me Judkin's 70-yard run. That at that moment when that was happening in my head, I was seeing Zeke running through the heart of the South in my head, man, and what a beautiful scheme that was. You got everybody going one direction. He cuts it back against the seam. There's nobody there. And this was all set up because Emeka Egbuka had run that sweep several times, and they thought, here he comes. They get him going in one motion. You get the block on the line cutting in, and there's a gap there the size of the Red Sea that Moses made when he lifted his staff, man. And that was a huge. So I'm going to go Judkin's 70-yard run. D-Rock Irish, thanks, man. That's classy of you to come in and say that, brother. Appreciate you. All right. This one, guys, was really tough. Defensive player hit of the game.
I'll tell you, I'm going to take the one that I think was absolutely pivotal.
Hold on 1 second. Offensive play of the game. Getting an offensive holding call finally.
Facts.
I think it's defensive play of the
game. Go for it, Chris.
Defensive play of the game. I got to go to the third and goal pass breakup by Jordan Hancock. That set up
the field goal, right? Yeah.
Missed. And that really changed the momentum of the game because this was a Notre Dame team that really was starting to build momentum at that point. So for that, I think Jordan Hancock deserves it for that pass breakup on third and goal.
I think I'm going to go with the same play because, again, there wasn't a lot of plays to choose from in this one that were just like standout wow plays. That play was pivotal, and it obviously in hindsight led to a missed field goal. So they got nothing out of that drive because of that.
Yeah, so I thought about.
Uh-oh.
Eric, we lost your sound. So Eric's thought about something, guys, but we've lost his volume.
Yep. All right, he's going to start sign languaging.
Okay, so Eric's checking out and checking back in. while that's going on, chat, hey, shoot us what you think the defensive play of the game was, because I'll tell you, for me that had to be it. I mean, like you said, Corey, yeah, we had a couple sacks, but nothing just really stood out to me as a huge,
Mm-hmm.
super impactful defensive play of the game. There was no helmets being broken. There was no
Mm-hmm.
scooping scores. No
No huge
turnovers to speak
turnovers,
of.
nothing. Yeah. I mean, what do you? I mean, that was the biggest. I mean, that's the only play that does stand out, really. I mean, otherwise it was just non-dramatic 3-and-outs and non-dramatic defense actually stiffening up after that first drive for next 2 quarters and playing really well. But boy, did they start getting cooked the last quarter and a half. And man, it was just like they were. I mean, even Cody was saying, I didn't really have a, and we didn't have any answers for it at the
Yeah,
moment.
Bobby Mack. Which tackle for loss were you talking about? There was a few of them.
Mm-hmm.
Shutting down Jordan Love in general, yeah, Mika, that was huge. That was a game changer.
That's more of a performance, though, I'd say, than a play. I mean, but Love only got 4 carries. I don't know how healthy was he.
And that's a good question. And I started to wonder about the health of not only Love, but also I started to wonder a little bit about Riley Leonard's health at the end. You know, there's a few times where he got up, and we said if he ran that ball more than 10 times, there was a good chance he wasn't finishing the game. Well, hats off to him for finishing the game because
All right,
I was
can you hear me
concerned.
now?
Yep, we got you.
Yes.
Gee, many Christmas. My laptop just decided to just stop working. The volume just. See you later for no reason at all. My bad. It wouldn't be the OHL podcast without technical difficulties. That is we need that on a t-shirt, Chris.
I can have that done.
Yeah. Okay. My defensive play of the game was actually the second to last one when we had 3 defensive linemen just running around and that second and just the jubilee of the defense. You know, when they make the stop and the time's running off. That was my defensive play of the game. I know it's kind of anticlimactic, but I just felt like at that moment you knew you had won the natty, right? So that was my defensive player hit of the game. That being said, guys, that's the last one. So that tells me we have officially our first Buckeye Award finished and ready. Would you like to know, folks in the chat, who accumulated the most Buckeye Leafs this season from us? Put your guess in the chat right now. Put your guess.
I
Who
got a pretty good
accumulated?
idea.
All right, who do you think it is, Chris?
Jay Fielding.
Yeah, you know, if it's offensively, I feel like it's got to be either Will or JJ.
Pick one.
Let me go JJ.
Okay, you picked JJ. All right.
Will Howard.
You picked Will Howard. You both picked the top 2. But by let's see. So by 3, he won by 3 Buckeye Leaves. Jeremiah Smith.
Wow.
Jeremiah Smith is the winner of.
Is he the first freshman to ever win it?
Yeah, he's the first freshman ever. C.J. Stroud won it. Man, I have to go back and think about it now. I think did Marvin Harrison win it one year for us?
I don't have the old.
Justin Fields.
So I'd have to go back and look at the old show notes, and I don't even know if I've got them back that far.
BW gifted 10. Man, gifted 10 memberships. They go to Will Buck and Kenneth. Let's see who else here. Mr. Ohio, Colton Weaver, Dave Burks, Hummus Hero, Fart Smella, C-Dub, Mike Rogers. All of them were given gifted memberships. Fantastic, man. Thank you, BW. Yeah. Anyways, that's that. Let's go to our commercial break. When we come back, we've got some very interesting topics that, quite frankly, we have to talk about. So, yes. Let's
Speedo sizes.
We'll be right back.
Hey, Buckeye Nation. The OHIO podcast is thrilled to partner with Export Mouthguards, the innovators redefining protection in contact sports. Introducing the Ninja Pro Mouthguard, the strongest and most advanced mouthguard on the market. Engineered by dental experts, it's designed to deliver elite protection with a sleek, low-profile fit. Made with carbon fiber and multi-layer construction, it's impact tested to keep you safe from even the hardest hits. But that's not all. The Ninja Pro is 3D printed for 100% custom fit, offering unbeatable comfort and security for any athlete. From football to MMA, dominate your game with confidence while safeguarding your teeth and jaw. Getting started is easy. Use our home impression kit to create your custom fit and enjoy prepaid shipping. It's protection delivered right to your door. Plus, with a 1-year warranty and 100% satisfaction guarantee, and proudly made in the USA, the Ninja Pro is your ultimate defense on the field or in the ring. And here's the best part. When you visit exportguards.com, use promo code OHIO at checkout to get 20% off your purchase. That's right, 20% off elite protection made just for you. Protect your game, protect your future. Choose Export Ninja Pro Mouthguards, where innovation meets protection. Head to exportguards.com and use promo code OHIO today.
And yes, if you're Donald and Karen Rosbach, they're asking who had the most Buckeye Leafs on defense, and they guessed Jack Sawyer, and indeed it was Jack Sawyer. Congratulations on that guess. Yeah, and if you're paying close attention there, my wife's son was in that commercial, and he'll be making his OHIO podcast debut this upcoming Sunday. He will be interviewed by our special guest because he is one of several athletes in Central Ohio who was gifted that mouth guard and got to wear it for this season. And this thing is going to be amazing when we reveal
Game
why.
changer.
It's ingenious. It's unbelievable. I'm
getting
not
one for
blowing.
when I fall off ladders.
You might actually. It's for real.
Yeah.
It's gonna save lives. It's gonna save lives. It's amazing. All right. That being said, as I was shooting this video about Ryan Day today, I was just kind of talking my way through things. It dawned on me that Ryan Day, with this playoff run and this win today, is now honestly in a conversation that needs to be had not only by Ohio State fans but by on a national scale, and that is this: where does he now rank in the current coaching staff? All the coaches in college football, where does he rank at? In my mind, Kirby Smart right now is probably number one.
Agreed.
2 national championships. Has the most, I would say, now that Nick Saban's no longer at Alabama, probably the most recognizable SEC team in Georgia, and has kind of some of that clout behind him when it comes to recruiting. And then I started thinking, who's next? Dabo Swinney's won 2, but a lot of shine's been worn off that.
Yep.
2 national championships. A lot of people probably said Dan Lanning before the season started, and he's got that W over Ryan Day now. But then Ryan Day goes in the Rose Bowl and waxes him, man. So, yeah, he's got a Big Ten championship, but what else? So I don't think it's Dan Lanning. The former Washington coach down in Tuscaloosa, Alabama, boy, they are already calling for him to be fired down there. He didn't even make the college football playoff, so it ain't him.
Sharon Moore.
It ain't James Franklin, because James Franklin going to James Franklin himself every single season, and he can't beat Ryan Day.
It's not Lincoln Riley.
It's not Lincoln Riley. There's a lot of shine off that guy.
To me, Eric, if I can just throw it out there,
he's number 2.
He's number 2. He's got to be number 2. You look at this, like you said, Kirby's got 2 national titles. He's got to win head-to-head over Ryan on a big stage. So you can't put Ryan ahead of Kirby just yet. For me, I think Ryan's right there behind Kirby. Obviously, he does have a couple of Big Ten titles.
I'm not disagreeing with Chris. I'm disagreeing with Sark. Sark's not even in that conversation.
Yeah, not even
But
close.
but where would he fall?
You could say top 10 somewhere, but
Top 10, yeah. But
you
as
haven't
far
won a
as
natty.
Day, yeah, as far as Day goes, couple Big Ten titles early on. A win over Michigan early on, but he's still 1-4. But overall, I mean, if you look at the landscape of the coaching, with the retirement of guys like Nick Saban, Urban Meyer, there is no one who's just truly that great coach at that next level at this point. So you look at the two guys who have been probably the hottest two, and that's got to be Ryan Day and Kirby Smart. Kirby's got a little bit better resume right now, but Ryan's definitely in the conversation.
Yeah, I think Ryan Day is one natty win away from completely blowing Kirby away. And I say that because I think somebody in the chat said it. Kirby's culture in Georgia is falling apart right now.
Oh, without a doubt.
Mika said it.
Yeah, and Ryan Day, whatever you want to say about what I've been there right with everybody about his faults. You can't argue the culture's not good at Ohio State. Those kids love each other. Those kids love their coaching staff. There's not, I think it's Spencer Holbrook who said we're not waking up to the police department giving us the media messages about some kid getting arrested or a DUI or something every other night.
Come on, Cory. Haven't you heard the Michigan fans tell you there's a problem with the culture in Columbus? You didn't know that?
That's true. And you know what? I do go to Michigan fans whenever I want Ohio State information.
Absolutely.
Yeah, those are the first people I go to. And you know what? It matters to me what they think about our title. It really matters that Dave Portnoy doesn't recognize it.
It's not recognized. Yeah.
I'm broken up by it.
Hey, how about this though? Can I throw this out there for both of you guys? Because I've had to stew on this as I was going through this question. The NCAA extension runs out here next month, I believe it is.
Mm-hmm.
On the opportunity to answer those notice of allegations. And I didn't want to bring this up, but I had to for this conversation's purposes. Should they strip Michigan of wins, even if they don't take the national title? Should they strip them of wins over those 3 seasons and vacate those? Ryan Day at that point is 1-1 versus Michigan. Does that change the narrative even more?
I think it helps because if the NCAA feels the cheating was bad enough to merit getting rid of those games, then we can't possibly say to what level did Ryan Day lose those games, right?
Correct.
So even though he lost, and on paper we can't possibly say what caused it. Was it his coaching? Was it the players? Or was it just straight up cheating? We saw in 2022, all the videos of everybody doing this and everything like that, as far as they knew what the signals were. I'm just saying, I've always tried to, it was up until this last November, I kind of defended Ryan Day and all that stuff. Yeah.
And I didn't want to drag it back up, especially on the eve that we get to celebrate that, the night after the national championship. But it's something, if we're going to talk about the narrative of where Ryan Day ranks among national coaching, that is really the third stigma that a lot of people, including myself, have held against him, is that record. At that point, the narrative could make it to where he is right there neck and neck with Kirby.
And somebody brought up Dabo, and I think Dabo's legacy is bigger than Day's right now, but he's not better than Ryan Day.
Yeah, he's not better.
And I'll give you the perfect example of how you do this, because you're exactly right. You have to say, if I'm an athletic director and I have to choose a coach, will I choose Dabo or whoever this person is?
Yep.
And I'm finding myself choosing whoever this person is more so than Dabo because of his inability to adapt. It's killing Clemson.
Yes.
It's killing their program. And I think he's finally going to start to adapt, but he's done so kicking and screaming.
Yep.
I like Dabo Swinney like I think Dabo Swinney was a good counter to Nick Saban on a national scale because they were very opposite people. And so it was like a yin and a yang,
But
a good guy, a bad guy, a good cop, bad cop. But today, if I'm an athletic director, I'm choosing Smart, Day, Freeman, Sark, and Lanning before I even contemplate Dabo Swinney. And he's got 2 national championships.
Mm-hmm.
and here's the thing though that I think also helps, even though that he's got the 2 titles, that helps push Day over top. In their last matchup, Day does have a head-to-head win over Dabo.
Oh,
Yeah.
big win. Yeah.
Big. And he should have 2, let's be honest.
He should.
If you're asking me for my top 5 guys right now in college football, I'm going Smart, Day, Freeman, Sark, and Lanning. I don't know the exact order. I'd have to really think about that. But those 5 guys are my top 5 right now. And I think Dabo's on the outside looking in the top 5.
Well, and this might surprise you, but I think I would be very similar to yours, Eric. And I would even include Marcus Freeman, who I totally despise.
He's the hottest young coach in college
Just
football,
because
not named Ryan Day.
he is a good coach. I do not like him for what he did, for what he said, because he's a traitor. But I'm not going to deny that the man has the ability to coach. You're right. He is one of the top 5 best coaches right now.
He's only 36 years old.
Tyler says so. I love how Tyler always puts out 3 of
I
our
like
names.
I like this question actually because it was a topic on my Twitter today.
When you know it's really just aimed at me.
So
Well,
Eric, Chris, Cory, but really just Chris. How much leeway do we now give Dave for winning the national champion? Depends on what you mean by leeway. Are you talking about the game? Because I'm telling you right now, that's not the right question. Because I think everybody's focus, including Chris, because I'm going to my project in 2025 is to get Chris to change his mindset. And it's this. Day has won the game. That game being the national championship. Now he's got the ball on the goal line against the team up north. We just need to push this thing. We're going to go into Ann Arbor next year. The fan base is going to be 100% behind
Will
them.
to tush push it.
What?
We don't have Will. We can't tush push anything.
We got Day. Day, we could tush push Ryan Day's beard across the goal line, man. I'm telling you. It's there.
So we're talking about touching the tush of the beard now?
Yes.
Okay.
Eric's oddly obsessed with tushes. And Duke's tushes at that. That's a problem.
Speedos and tushes. I mean, this has become a really...
You guys nuts. Anyways, good conversation. I think we all kind of agree. Day's at number 2.
Yes.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right, next topic. Let's keep her rolling. All right, who stays and who leaves? So we all know there's going to be so many seniors who are going to get drafted. Let's see if we can do it real fast, right? Will Howard, let's go offense. Will Howard, Travion Henderson, Emeka Egbuka. There's 3. Offensive line, Donnie Jackson, Jimmy Simmons. There's 5.
Fryer will get drafted.
You think so?
Yeah, I think he'll get maybe late. I could see 6th round, something like that. Yeah.
Let's hold him out, but I'm going to write his name down as a possible. Let's see. Those 5 on offense are definitely those 5. Oh, shoot. The center. McLaughlin. There's 6. Defensively.
He
said
Simmons.
him already. I got him.
Okay.
All right. Now let's go defense. JTT, Jack, Ty Hamilton, Ty Leak. There's 10.
Mm-hmm.
Cody
Simon, 11.
Mm-hmm.
Lathan Ransom, 12.
Mm-hmm.
Denzel Burke, 13.
Hancock.
Jordan Hancock.
He'll get drafted for sure.
Does he go, do you think, or does he come back?
He has to. He's a senior. 14.
He's got that COVID year.
What's the record? 16?
15.
If Fry gets drafted, that ties the record. And that's just seniors. Now, I didn't mention G. Scott Jr.
I don't know if he gets drafted or not.
I don't think
I think he makes a practice squad. I think he gets an invite somewhere.
Yeah. Oh, he'll get invited somewhere for sure.
I don't know how he does.
So that's just seniors. We're talking possible tying, maybe breaking the record with just seniors. Now let's add to this question what juniors might go. I've got 3. I have 3 that I think are contemplating leaving early and going to the NFL. They are, and give me a yes or no and why. Let's start here. Quinshawn Judkins. You
He's
go
gone.
first, Cory. Okay, Cory, you say
Yeah,
he's gone.
he should go.
Wear and
Why?
tear on running backs. They say he's going to be a first round draft pick. So
Yeah, they're saying he's going to be late first, early second round. Running backs, we know how much wear and tear they get on
and
them.
he's
They
got a lot
have
of wear and
limited
tear.
life. Given his first couple years at Ole Miss, he got used a lot.
I agree with you guys 100%. I think that's why he goes. Your running back, you only got so much tread on those tires. He has a ton
You're
of
at
carries under his
15
belt.
You've
guaranteed
got
right
to
there.
get through that rookie contract to get that first big contract.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Caleb Downs can't go to the NFL. He's only a sophomore. He's got another year. He's got to go.
And Lorenzo Styles, somebody asked, no, he's not a senior. He can come back.
Andrew Woods, does any team try to get Jeremiah Smith to leave Ohio State with more money? I heard he was the 3rd highest NL. Yeah.
Every
Yeah,
team's going to try to get him to
I
leave.
promise you. In fact, you guys mentioned one person who will try. I guarantee it. Dave Portnoy. I guarantee it. He's sleazy. Next person that I want to mention, Sonny Styles. Does he stay or go, and why?
I'm leaning
Corey, you go
stay.
first. He stays. Why?
I'm leaning stay. I'm not saying he won't go. I'm just leaning stay. Obviously, he'll be, the primo guy next year for a linebacker. He really does need one more year. I just think they'll have to up his NIL to keep him.
Yeah, I agree. I think Sonny stays. He needs another year to develop. Not only that, but he's in a unique position here, I think, on this team. With Jack Sawyer leaving, I really feel like we need that Ohio guy who can carry on that fire,
Mm-hmm.
carry on that passion in the locker room. I think Sonny Styles is set to be the leader on this team next year.
Legacy, man.
And
Styles
yeah,
legacy.
the legacy, exactly. But I think he knows. I think he's smart enough, and his father's probably smart enough to tell him, "Hey, you need one more year to develop. You improve your draft stock. You end up being, a day 1, day 2 pick."
Plus, his brother's still going to be on the Buckeye next year.
You
Correct.
nailed it right there. It's because he's going to be starting beside his brother and his dad and mom. I mean, can you imagine that
Mm-hmm.
at your dad at your parents' alma mater? Come on, man.
And
I think he
Lorenzo's
stays.
set to take Hancock's spot next year. So
Yes, exactly. Yep, you got it. You nailed it. All right. One more. Davison Igbinosun, stay or go, and why, Corey?
I think he goes, but I could see him staying. I'm going to say go. Just put me down for go. I don't want to hedge, but if he stays, I'm not going to be mad about being wrong. But I just think at this point, he's just like, okay, he has 2 years at Ohio State. Do I come back for a third? I think if he, like Sonny Styles says, for him to stay, you're going to have to up his NIL. We'll just see how much Ohio State values him. Or else are they ready to move on to Jermaine being the starter? Obviously, Calvin Simpson-Hunt's going to transfer. And then you got, the other guys, Bryce West and why am I?
Aaron Scott.
Thank you, Aaron. I knew it was Aaron. I just couldn't remember his last name.
And Jermaine Matthews Jr.
Yeah, exactly. And then you still got a couple of young guys like Devin Sanchez is going to play a little bit because he's just that good. They're saying he's the Jermaine Smith of the defense. He might even just play a lot in the rotation. So, but they could use Iggy to come back. I'm not going to lie, but I just see him like, okay, I'm done with school.
Can I make a statement here that may not be popular with some people? I think Igbinosun is gone either way.
You ask and then you just go right into it because
because I really don't care if I have your permission or not.
You're wearing my face on your hat.
So let me just tell you, I think Igbinosun's gone either way. He either turns pro, and I don't think that's a good choice for him because at best, right now, he's a 4th, 5th round draft pick. I could see him transferring. And this is why I think we're ready to move on to the next group of guys. I think that he was great to bring the physicality in and all that, the presence. But I think people are over all the pass interference calls at this point. He just really, I think, is going to be surpassed in that locker room by just more talented guys who don't have to grab and hold and tackle every time a receiver starts to get past them. So I really feel like Igbenogson is probably gone after this year. Either way, we're not going to pay a big NIL to keep him.
By the way, if Iggy comes back, it has no bearing on Matthews starting for that comment I had up there. Jermaine is starting next year for sure, whether Iggy comes back or not, because Burke is gone. So
my guess is that we're gonna have at least a 3-guy rotation
easily
at cornerback. Yep, with us, Aaron Scott, the freshman, and Sanchez and Williams Jr. That's my early guess. No, we have not talked about who the QB is going to be next year. We have all off season to do that. We have a spring game to do that. I am not sold.
Oh wow! Basketball news, real quick. I didn't know this. We upset Purdue.
We beat them again, dude. Can you imagine?
DK is probably
DK right now. Probably is like, I wore a Ohio State jersey last night, and you all beat me again.
They were down 13 at the half.
Dang.
Where's DK? Why is DK not in the chat? I wonder.
I wonder. We have all off season to talk about the quarterback. Obviously, Julian Sain is the leader in the clubhouse right now. But do not count out Tavian St. Clair making this a real competition.
And I would not be surprised at all if we don't see a transfer in as well.
I see a transfer in. I don't think Tavian has any shot in all Hades starting next year.
You don't think so? Not at all.
His competition level was not very good at the high school level.
I understand that.
He's got a long way to go.
He was awful good, and he probably has the most.
He's the most physically gifted of all.
I have never seen Ryan Day drool over a high school quarterback prospect like he does Tavian.
Oh, he loves Tavian, and I love Tavian. I think Tavian's got a bright future. Don't get it wrong. I love Tavian. I think he's going to be an all-timer at Ohio State. I just don't think he's going to beat out Sain, who it's not. I think he's more physically gifted than Sain. I just think Sain's so far ahead right now, and I just can't see.
Buck, we're going to get there.
Yeah, we're going to get there, Will. That's why I pulled it up. So
sorry, I could have gone all day on that. You're right. It needs to be another podcast.
it really does, and it will be, and we will. Trust me, we will be discussing this
probably.
yeah, and I was on the train of saying if you could get Quinn Ewers to come back to Columbus, I wouldn't be against it, because I'm just going to be honest.
We must have said no.
I'm just going to be honest with you. There's a major step back offensively next year.
I agree.
It's going to.
I said this on Twitter today, guys. I do believe Sain will be the starter. Please don't, not you two. I'm talking about every Buckeye Nation. Please don't bury him if he's not a freaking All-American against Texas.
Yeah, you guys, we have to be patient.
Let's think about how much game time he actually has right now.
None.
He has got very limited experience in real games. Yes, he's going to get the majority of the snaps, but we're going to have to be patient with a young quarterback. If this is the guy who's starting for us, understand we're probably looking at least one loss next season, potentially two.
Yep.
Maybe on that cusp of maybe we make the playoff, maybe we don't. I think a 2-loss Ohio State team gets in again next year, just because I think there's going to be parity again as there was this year.
Mm-hmm.
There, like I said, there are no coaching giants left. So,
and just so you all know, the leader in the clubhouse in the Big Ten next year going into the season is Penn State.
Yep.
But he'll James Franklin the whole thing. So
I know, which is why I think some people are like, nah, Ohio State.
You know what? Penn State comes into the shoe next year,
and he'll James Franklin this thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've got all off season to dive into that, but there are 3 more juniors we need to discuss, and it's not because I'm worried that they're going to the NFL. It's could they leave the program? Are they in danger of transferring out? And it could not necessarily right now, but maybe after spring, depending on how things go in the spring. 3 names to look at. I'll let you guys answer the same thing. Are you, instead of saying, yes, I think they leave, or no, they don't, because we don't know, let's be completely honest. Are you concerned that they might leave? And if so, why? Let's start with the first one, Lincoln Keenholz, Cory.
Concern? No. If he leaves, he leaves. He has no shot to start next year. He provides nice depth. I'll give him that. If he wants to stick around and be a locker room leader, he's a good guy. I like him, and he's got the experience. But I mean, as far as like being in the locker room and being around guys who are champions and have put in that web, and he's a hard worker, but he's just not an OSU caliber quarterback. We got him late in the recruiting process because one of our other plans fell through. So I'm not anti-Lincoln. I appreciate the bravado of him saying he wants to stick around and compete for the starting job next year. There's no way. And I'll say this. If it were between him and Tavion would start. And without a doubt. I think Sand is a 5-star who they love, and that's why I think he'll be ahead. But that being said, I'm not concerned about it. If he leaves, I wish him nothing but the best, of course.
Yeah, I kind of agree with what Cory said there. Not overly concerned. If you ask me, is he going to leave? My personal guess would be probably. But I don't know that. If he leaves, he leaves, and I'll wish him the best of luck. If he stays, we're happy to have you.
Yep, absolutely. I agree with Chris 100%.
Okay, I'm right there with you guys. All right, next up, CJ Hicks.
You want to go, Chris? You want?
This is what I'm going to say. Yes, I'm concerned he's going to leave. Not because he's been massively productive at Ohio State, but I think because someone's going to find a system where he fits, where he can specialize specifically as a pass rusher. That's something that I think we've needed to try to find a fit for him in that role. We haven't. I think that the writing's kind of on the wall there a little bit with CJ, that he wants to get playing time. We don't play a system that he's fitting into. He's going to find somewhere where he can go and be a pass rusher. And I just hope it's not in the Big Ten where it comes back to haunt us.
I'm going to give you a hot take on this one. CJ Hicks will be Mitchell Melton's replacement. Melton went to Virginia.
The cowboy position.
Yeah. I absolutely think
I can see that.
He bulks up just a touch, and he becomes that stand-up defensive end position at the end in rotation. And I think that's where he finds his role, and they allow him to, based on production, to up his rotational left snaps, as the season goes on, much like Edric Houston. So I absolutely think he doesn't leave. I think they've told him already, because Knowles even just said we plan on rushing Hicks off the edge a lot next year. So I really do think that they've told him the plan. They said, look, we want to make, because Melton, they haven't done anything to replace Mitchell Melton. They need the depth. Maybe they say, well, we got the depth on our roster already. He's just playing linebacker.
Well, and I'll tell you, the Georgia kid who ended up going to Missouri and didn't come to Ohio State, I think that had a lot to do with it right there.
Mm-hmm. That and his demands were insane.
and here's the other part to that I think is very interesting. I've been wondering, I haven't heard nothing, but I cannot help but to think about this. Is Larry Johnson going to hang it up now?
I think that's something to that.
He just won a national championship.
Walk away on top.
I know for a fact
he's going to have 2 first-round guys.
He promised JTT's family, I will be here until your son graduates. That was a promise he made. Now the next question I have is, what did he promise Edric Houston?
That I will be gone in a year.
A big stack of money.
So,
Chris, I think just hit it on the head there.
So if Larry Johnson leaves, I think the defensive line could look drastically different in how Jim Knowles approaches it.
Yep. And I just wonder who the replacement would be. Landon Allen as the replacement, or would it be
get somebody? Larry Johnson's son was on this staff.
That's true.
I don't know what
the CTE guy, right?
No, I'm not sure what position he was coaching. I thought it was linebackers, but it's very, very interesting. I know that they really wanted to go after the guy from Miami who played for the Dolphins.
Yeah.
Jason Taylor.
Taylor.
They love him. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't think that's dead in the water. So
it'd be very hard to pull him out of Miami, though. He loves Miami.
His roots are there.
I think we could have got him last season.
But he is an Ohio guy.
If it wasn't for the fact that they wanted him to come in as an assistant and learn for a year under Johnson.
Akron, isn't it?
Yeah, he went to Akron. Yeah.
Yeah.
Jason Taylor. Thank you, Will Buck. Yeah, we'll see.
Good pro.
And look, that's me. I'm just being 100% honest with you. That's me speculating. I have
And by the
not
way, I'm
heard
pretty
anything.
sure he was Brian Hartline's teammate in Miami.
He was.
Yep.
That's some insight there. All right, one more name. Jelani Thurman.
Gone.
I would not be surprised at all to see him end up at South Carolina.
Mm-hmm.
I almost wondered, in a sense, if him and Aaron Nolan weren't a package deal to begin with.
Did we even see Jelani after a Tennessee game? Did we see him playing? Was he hurt? I mean,
couple downs.
He just, I don't know.
He never
looked great
lived up
against
to his
Tennessee.
I don't
expectations.
remember him when Will Case Merritt came back.
Mhm.
I don't remember him playing anymore.
Yeah.
I mean, and Jelani looked great against Tennessee,
And they just got the kid from Purdue,
Yep.
and he's a beast.
and he is a
Yes,
stud.
he is.
And
Mhm.
he's the best player. He was the best player on Purdue's team.
That and the safety.
Offensively.
Yep.
And yeah.
So can we just cover
Tiedemann.
this? We beat up Purdue. We took their best player. DK put on an OSU jersey, and then we upset him tonight.
Oh,
This has not been a banner day for DK.
In fact, I need to check real fast if I've got a message from him.
DK does not want to talk about it.
Oh my gosh, no! But my inbox is filled with people saying Smith is going back to Miami. The Hurricanes are after JJ Smith.
I'm sure they're tampering. I don't care. He ain't going anywhere.
I don't think he leaves.
He just literally said he can't wait for this team to be his. That room is Jeremiah Smith's next year. And he just said, I can't wait for me and Tate and Ennis to tear it up next year.
I love college football. It's like
I love delusional fan bases. Why on God's green earth? I know that's where he's from. Why on God's green earth would you leave a natty
Do you not
team
know?
with a natty coach, with the best receiver coach in football, who just made you the top freshman in the country, to go to Miami?
Cory,
Who's got Carson back as the quarterback?
Cory, I'll tell you why. We covered this at the beginning of the season, Eric. Don't you remember this? Why is he going to go? Who's going to be the head coach in Miami next year?
Ryan Day?
Don't you remember the whole show we did about that one?
Yeah, Miami
All those
people.
rumors coming out.
Oh, because they had Heartline.
Listen, I get along with most fan bases, not maize and blue. I really do. The Tennessee fans were obnoxious, but I got along with them.
They were funny,
Oregon
though.
fans were delusional, but I got along with them. Texas fans are almost cultish because they're a lot like A&M, even though they don't want to admit it. But I got along with them. Notre Dame fans, I get along with them great if they're not Dallas fan in Washington, D.C. But Miami fans are gross. I can't stand that fan base.
Miami in general is gross.
First of all, they all run around looking like Razor Ramon from the 80s, wrestling,
They smoking machismo, oozing machismo.
Chico.
Anyways, all right, we got off topic.
We do that a lot.
Yeah.
That and technical difficulties. That's the name of the show. Jelani Thurman. You all think he's going to go Portland? Huh?
Deuces.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
What if he stays?
Hey,
Cool.
If he can stay and develop, I'm happy for it.
I would love for him to stay. I just don't see it.
I hate to see us lose anybody after we've put forth the time and the effort to recruit and develop them. But if he's not going to play at an elite level, deuces.
I have never heard that before. That's funny. Cryamy.
James Larnice staying at linebacker coach? Yes, he is staying at linebacker.
Yes, absolutely.
And he's emerging as one of the best linebacker coaches in the country.
And just wait. And this is why I hope we don't lose Knowles just yet.
Well, there's some good news on that
Knowles
front.
hangs in for a couple years when he's ready to go and take the next step. Young Animal is going to be Little Animal is going to be the man to take that DC spot.
There's some good news on the Knowles front. His sister, I mean, whether you want to take that for what it's worth, has assured everybody his fiance actually loves Columbus and are looking for a house in Dublin. So,
well, I'm happy to hear that.
Mm-hmm. Doesn't say, I mean, but
I heard Dublin, Ohio is nice this time of year. So
well,
it's lovely.
That does not mean Oklahoma is stopping their pursuit, but Ryan Day is on top of it.
But much like their defense, their pursuit is going to fall short.
Yeah, it's going to take a bad angle. Yeah. Mecca, I agree. I hope he stays. I would love for him to stay. He's a talented guy.
What let me ask you this. What if Jelani was in the wrong position? What would be the other position he would play?
Wide receiver.
I don't know if he's got the
What else
speed
would he
to be a
play?
wide receiver.
You have to really beef him up to be a tackle.
Hit the weight room and be a defensive end.
He's gonna be Arcade Stover in reverse.
Put some weight in and kick him into the line.
I don't think he can play tackle.
No, I don't either.
I would say defensive.
He's no Reed Fraggle.
Interesting. Jelani Thurman's. I am not gonna lie. I am on a little bit of portal watch for him. Again, no, just me looking at the tea leaves. Did not get on the playing field very much. Coaching staff pushed him hard. Talked about him a lot. Hey, you know, we really need him to focus in, and we need him to step up. And then end of the year, crickets. So that's usually a bad sign. All right, we have one more topic, guys. One more topic tonight, and then we'll get out of everybody's hair.
And this is a doozy, Eric.
This one might break the internet, and I really want us to actually all disagree because that would make for good content. We have won 3 national championships in my lifetime. 2002, 2014, and 2024. We've got Jim Tressel, Urban Meyer, Ryan Day. And I have 2 questions about that. And the questions are this. I want you to rank them on which is most impressive and why.
Which championship is most impressive and why?
Which championship was most impressive and why? 1, 2, and 3. Go 3, 2, 1 or whatever.
Who's gonna go? Who's gonna go?
You're itching. Go for it, Chris.
I'll jump in it. I can jump in it and
I was gonna say I'm ready too. So whichever.
Let's get this fire started here. I'm gonna go 3, 2, 1.
Okay.
Number 3, 2014. We caught fire at the right time. We vindicated the playoff, beat Alabama, won the Big Ten handily, loved it. It's impressive. It's just not as impressive as 2025, number 2, which going through that murderer's row is impressive. Yes. 2002 is number 1 for me because nobody on God's green earth gave us a chance. We were favored in every game in this year. Nobody, and I mean nobody, except for like Archie Griffin and Jim Tressel, gave us a chance to beat Miami. Miami was loaded with NFL players. I went into that game going, there's just no way. Just can you keep it within 20? I mean, my gosh. We barely beat Cincinnati early in the year. I was like, can we keep up with this team? To me, it's still the greatest national title game of all time. And to me, it's a great. I think Miami was favored by 13 points. Just the biggest national title upset of all time in my mind. So, yeah, 2002.
So you're
2002
thinking
blew me away.
That one upset win was more impressive than the gauntlet this team just went through.
Now, see, here we go, Eric.
Hold on, let him answer the question.
Yes.
Okay.
Because this is arguably one of the most talented rosters in Ohio State history, and we were favored in every game. I mean, this roster is just short of what that Miami roster was. That Miami roster was sick.
I'm going to disagree with you, Cory.
How dare you?
I am going to agree with this. 2014 to me is number 3. I do believe, despite playing it with a third-string quarterback, you had a phenomenal running back that I think really carried the load. And like you said, we caught fire at the right time. To me, 02 is number 2. And this is why. Yes, they were 12-0. Yeah, they defeated they slayed the monster. But as Eric was just saying, they didn't run the gauntlet that the team did this year. This team ran the gauntlet, and more importantly than running the gauntlet is this is a team that a lot of people, despite their talent, said shouldn't have been in. Shouldn't have even been in. 4th place in your own conference. Lost to your rival. Your fan base had turned on you. A majority of the fans, whether they all want to admit it or not, a majority of the fans were turning on this team after that Michigan game.
It's true.
This was a team that really had two choices. You could just pack it in because you were getting the crap kicked out of you in the media, at home, by your fans. You're feeling down on yourself. You're hearing the talk from your rivals about how they own you. But they didn't just pack it in. Instead, they came together. They formed this tremendous bond. And they go out there and they played their asses off for Ryan Day. They played not so much that it wasn't the talent, I think, that won a lot of those games. It was the heart. This team played a different type of football after that Michigan loss. And they ran a gauntlet unlike anything ever seen before in college sports. To me, this is number one.
You guys are forgetting you guys are poo-pooing 2014. We won a national championship with a third-string quarterback and a bunch of sophomores.
That third-string quarterback was better than Craig Krenzel, though.
How could you poo-poo these guys? They were left for dead. They go to the Big Ten championship and blow out Wisconsin, and then beat mighty Alabama.
One of the worst Alabama teams at that era.
Yeah.
Who didn't give the ball to Derrick Henry? I don't know why.
Yeah, that Alabama team had Derrick Henry.
And they didn't give him the ball. Lane Kiffin said, we don't. Let's get to Blake Sims. The worst quarterback in Nick Saban era. Let's give it to Blake Sims.
Speaking of Lane Kiffin, did you see Lane Kiffin's son got an autograph from Quinshon Judkins and was wearing a Ohio State jersey?
That's because Judkins is a classier individual than Lane Kiffin.
No doubt.
Yeah, 59-0 in the Big Ten championship game.
Yeah.
That's impressive, dude.
Oh, I love it. That was football porn. Yeah.
It was good. It was great, but it just wasn't as great.
Oh my gosh.
The changing landscape of the game for each one.
Each one of these
the big story.
Each one of these national championship wins. Have you guys thought about this today? Each one is a Disney movie. 2002 national championship was basically, if Rudy was a real story, it was 2002 national championship team, right?
Yeah.
Or miracle.
You have the third.
Yes. Do you believe in miracles?
Yeah. We took down the Soviets, known as the Canes.
Who, by the way, had won 20-some-odd games in a row.
23? Was it 20? It was 23.
2014, third-string quarterback comes in. I didn't come here for school, right? I didn't come to play school. Leads that team to a national championship. I remember, I still believe that somebody has tried to get Cardell to sell the rights to his story. Like that is a movie that's going to be made.
That should be a 30 for 30.
Absolutely.
Definitely.
And then you got this year, and everybody's saying it, the greatest gauntlet of games, more top 10 wins than any other team in the history of college football in the AP era. After losing the rival, having that gut-wrenching loss, turning it around, winning 4 straight in the first ever 12-team playoff. These 3 national championship wins by Ohio State. I dare any college program to give me 3 national championships in the span of 25 years that are that good story-wise.
There's only 2 other programs that could talk about 3 other championships in 2020.
Alabama and
LSU.
Mm-hmm.
And Nick Saban's responsible for one of LSU's.
Yeah. But and all 3 from different head coaches.
Mm-hmm.
It's amazing. This is amazing, guys.
Mm-hmm.
It's amazing.
I don't want to get ahead of ourselves, Eric, but Ryan Day is now, of course, in a position as an active coach to do something that no one other than Woody Hayes has done now.
Win more than one?
Win multiple national titles.
No, that's not true. Tressel had opportunities. Urban had opportunities. They
Yeah,
just
but
But
he's
they're
talking
not
about,
coaching anymore.
I
They
know.
don't have the opportunity to still do it.
Yeah, he's
He
got that
has the
opportunity.
opportunity in front of him.
now I have a fiery question for Chris the Wild Man.
Yes.
What is your opinion of Day in the hierarchy of Ohio State coaches should he win his second within the next couple of years?
Oh my.
It's going to come down to, it's still going to come down to me. What's the record against Michigan? Has he overcome that? Has he, if he goes out this year and wins, if he beats Michigan
lose his mind.
and gets a national title, then I'm gonna actually slide him right into number 2. I'm not going to lie to you.
Behind Woody?
Behind Woody. But here's the thing.
Woody having 5 is a little hard to
I
overcome.
said to start off this program, he is a great coach. He might even be elite on the national stage. He's not elite at Ohio State without a winning record against Michigan. I'm just going to leave it at that.
All right, how about this? Now I got another good one for Chris. Just before we end tonight, I got another good one for Chris. Jim Tressel won 1 title, but he beat Michigan 9 times.
Yes.
Let's just say Ryan Day beats Michigan next year or the year after that 1 time. He's 2-5, but he's got 2 titles. Who's the better coach?
I'm still leaning towards Tress. And this is why. It's not the Natties or necessarily the Michigan thing. Tressel revitalized this program.
He did.
There is Tressel rebuilt the tradition.
Mm-hmm.
Tressel's on another level simply for that reason.
Okay.
Now, if you tell me that Ryan Day is, say, 3-4 against the team up north, or
if they vacate the win,
if the hammer comes out finally, and Ryan Day all of a sudden wins this year and he's 2-1 versus that team up north and has 2 national titles, I'll slot him in front of Urban.
I think he's getting close to being in front of Urban if he wins another natty.
Dude, he's already in front of Urban.
Not for me, he's not.
Oh yeah, he's already in front of Urban.
Urban's 7-0 against Michigan and has a title. How is he in front of Urban? Urban's even 72-9 in those 7 seasons. Right now, Day's 70-10. And he had more Big Ten titles than Ryan Day. I mean, by what measure is Day better than him?
Urban did not have to coach in a 12-team playoff.
That matters, but it doesn't.
Neither did Tressel. I mean,
well,
neither Woody Hayes. Are you gonna kick Woody all the way down to
Woody was in an era where you could just declare yourself the title.
Yeah.
I completely understand that, and this is going to sound completely sacrilegious, but I think you have to. I think you cannot compare Tressel, Urban, and Day to Woody Hayes. You can't even do it.
Well, if you want to, you can't do that, Eric.
Yes, you can.
How did me and Chris become a team here?
You are saying that the 12-team playoff matters, and that's why he's better than Urban. You can't then say, well, just because they played a 12-team playoff doesn't mean he's better than, or he's not, or he's,
Yeah, I can't, and I'll prove it right here. How many Super Bowls has the Cleveland Browns won, Chris?
Absolutely none.
But how many championships have they won?
I don't know the number right off the top of my head.
12, was it?
It's something in that area.
Yeah, that's the Woody Hayes era.
Yeah, and that's why nobody acknowledges them as a champion anymore, Eric.
But that's why I'm saying. That's why you have to separate those.
No, you can't separate.
Yes, you can. Who's telling you can't? Do you? It's like saying it's like Michigan doing this conversation. Michigan cannot have this conversation because all their championships were back when black players weren't allowed to play. They didn't have face masks on their helmets. They can only compare 2 championships.
You are making it to where it's a convenient truth for you. That's the thing. You're wanting to use one argument
I got some popcorn
to a different era. You want to say, okay, well, we can compare Ryan to Urban, and we can compare Ryan to Tress, even though they haven't played in the 12-team playoff, so they obviously suck compared to Ryan because they haven't played a 12-team playoff. Oh, but you can't do
Didn't say
that with Woody.
sucked.
You can't do that with. We're going to slide Day up in here because he played in the 12-team playoff.
You have to. That has got to have some weight. Listen,
I'm not.
I don't want to get in this conversation with you tonight.
That's not the only reason. That is the only reason you just said you were moving him up there.
No, it's not.
Well, then answer Cory's question.
Because I can't.
Urban and Tress never got the opportunity to get in a 12-team playoff. We don't know what they would have done.
Exactly, but I cannot. You cannot have this conversation without going into the deeper conversation that we are not ready to have yet, and that is this. We now live in an era where the game is not the same anymore. It's not. Whether we want to sit here and admit it or not and get mad about it or not, it's no different than when the Bengals play the Browns. It's not.
It still matters to those teams.
I'm telling you, we have a generation of kids who are going to be running whatever podcasts are in about 20 years, who are going to look at that game, and it's not going to be – they're going to look at us, and they'll be like, why does this game matter so much to you old fogies? That is literally what is happening.
I actually agree with Eric there.
Then we have failed.
So you have to take that into account.
We have failed as a society then.
I could say this for both Tressel and Urban. Tressel, like Chris said, rebranded the Ohio State. They were on a sinking ship with Cooper at the end there. Urban did the same thing, not through the fault of Tressel, because he got the stupid scandal that should have never happened and he got fired. But we were 6-7 the year he got there. He rebranded Ohio State again nationally. Ryan has not done that. He inherited a pretty strong program and infrastructure from Urban Meyer. When they say he's born on third base, there is some validity to that.
Validity to it.
All right, you want another one for you? This is really going to piss you off. Tressel won his national championship. Half his roster and the best players were recruited by who? John Cooper.
And he couldn't win. Joe Cooper couldn't win.
Urban won his championship. Half his players, some of which were recruited by Tressel.
And they couldn't win.
Everybody on this roster that just won a national championship were all 100% recruited and developed by Ryan Day.
Now, it's about time they did something. Because until this point, Ryan Day had done nothing without Urban's people.
Well, here's the funny thing is Tressel got there in his second year, Urban in his third year, Ryan Day in his second year. The former two won.
Absolutely.
You know what the best part about all of the last 20 minutes were to this?
It's irrelevant.
Chris, lean in closer to your camera. He's yelling at me, and he's wearing my face on his hat. If this isn't the most messed up podcast in all of Ohio State world, I don't know what is, man.
Right now, in my opinion, I got it. Woody, Tress, Urban, Day. That's
I concur with that, absolutely.
Yes, Rod, that was what argument I made earlier in the podcast, but it wasn't fitting my narrative for this argument. And at the end of the day, Mika, you are 100% right. We love them all. Go Bucks.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we do. They're all champions. That is a fact that you cannot dispute anymore. They are all champions.
Oh, gosh. What a fun show. I'm so sorry we did this late. I thought I was doing everybody a service, and I think at the end of the day it was a disservice. But thank you so much. Well, now
we're into off-season talk, Eric.
I know. Thank you so much for everybody for swinging by. If you haven't already, smash that like button. We really do appreciate it. Thank you so much, everybody. We'll be back 2 nights from now. The Wild Man and myself will be taking your phone calls. We're going to turn it over to you all for our national championship celebration call-in show. That's Chris. I cannot wait to hear what these callers are going to have to say about the national championship, man. It's going to be.
It was great. It was great. It was a beautiful thing to watch. It's a good feeling to see Ohio State on top again, where they belong. Hey, first legitimate title for the Big Ten since the last time they did it in 2014. Got to bury a traitor in the process. It was a good day.
It was a great day.
And then the next day, we upset Purdue in basketball.
I mean, it's something else, man. I still don't know if that's true or not. I got to go look.
I
looked it up. It's true.
Oh,
As great as that game was, though, guys, come on, tell me your favorite moment of the watch party was not seeing DK in that Ohio State jersey, which had to have been painted onto him.
Oh, he painted on Ohio State jersey.
My favorite moment was when the field goal went in. I got to scream, "That's the Natty!"
That's it. Yeah, that was a great call. All right, guys, thank you so much for being here. We'll be back Thursday night, 8 o'clock, call-in show. It's going to be wild. It's going to be fun. Don't miss it. And then Chris and I are going to we're going to be pushing out a lot of awesome content starting this week too. So be on the lookout for that. And we will also have some member videos. A lot of new people have memberships here thanks to some very nice people who've donated memberships.
Go check out those recruiting videos.
Go check out the recruiting videos. We're going to be pushing another one out here very soon for all you guys. We also have a new show. What we're going to get going underway here. All three of us will probably be chipping into that eventually on our own. And then go check out the website, theohiopodcast.com. We have a couple articles up there, guys. Make sure you go check that out. And go check out the store. Hit the store link. There's a lot of good stuff that are going to be added in the next 24 hours, including that beautiful hat so you can put my ugly mug on your beautiful mug. There you go.
If you don't like the hat, we can take and get you set up with the metal sign. Eric can stare down and look at you in your home or office.
You know what? You need to take it to your office and put it over your shoulder so I can
refuse.
Yeah. Yeah, you go to the work and you got to get work done. Watch the Podfather get it done for you. All right, guys, we love you. Be kind to one another. IO Summers OH, St. Carmen, Ohio, with all your heart. Till next time, you guys know what to do. OH!
IO!
Oh!
Go Buckeyes!